Welcome back to War Thunder Weekly News, and oh man, it finally happened. Supersonic jets, air-to-air missiles, Rank 6 aviation is here. Various people have been asking for these types of things since I've joined War Thunder back in like 2015, I think it was. So them finally adding it seems so surreal. Like it's something that y'all kind of expect at some time or another, but you never really expect it to happen. But hey, it's happening. But enough with the overexcitement. This announcement comes along with 6 new jets coming in 1.85 and a Q&A. So the jets that people really care for, the rank 6 ones, the supersonic ones, are the MiG-19PT, the American F-100D Super Sabre, and the British Javelin Mark 9. All 3 of these aircraft carry air-to-air missiles and are capable of reaching supersonic speeds, though I believe the British one can only do it in a dive. Another thing that they point out is that early air-to-air missiles, the ones that we're getting, kind of suck. Like a lot. And really, you'd be mostly using them against distracted players, retreating players who are damaged and trying to get back to the airfield as fast as possible, and bombers. Your typical jet would probably be able to easily dodge and outmaneuver these. It also talks about how helicopters will be getting counters to aircraft via air-to-air missiles for themselves, heat flares, exhaust infrared suppression systems, and other weird scientific things to make them not as easy targets. Although supersonic jets in themselves, I don't think they need to use air-to-air missiles. They could just use the regular guns that they have. So the other 3 aircraft that came along with this announcement were actually top-tier premiums. A Sabre for the US, a Meteor F Mark 8 for the British, and a MiG-15 Bish for the Russians. The MiG and Meteor have expanded loadouts, and I believe the Sabre doesn't actually have anything different to the, I believe, Japanese Sabre it is. I personally don't really like the selling top-tier vehicles, although these aren't going to be top-tier, but they probably will get into top-tier matches, so it's quite the same thing as the XM1, which I've talked on length about how I don't exactly like it, although if they're putting it up for sale, it's not like me saying that's a bad idea. We'll stop them, so feel free to buy them. They're $50 each, and you can get all 3 at a reduced price of $104, which is kind of nice. So if you want 2 of them, you basically get 1 for free. But the most interesting part is the Q&A. As the first question asks, will there be F4, F16, F22, and FSU-27s, etc. to be added in the game? And the answer was maybe in the future. After that was a question if there's any plans to add top-tier bombers. And it said top-tier bombers are not likely to be added, but subsonic attackers may possibly appear in the game, which essentially just means A-10 Warthog and Frogfoot are coming, which is awesome. Maybe a bit scary for tanks. The next question was about airborne radar and radar homing missiles, and the reply was very vague, essentially stating possibly, so long as they can make it simplistic, it doesn't affect gameplay, and it doesn't affect balance. I don't know about radar homing missiles, those sound a little spooky, but airborne radar is something that was around in World War II, so that's, I think, as a definite needs to happen. After that was a question about helicopters carrying air-to-air missiles, and how helicopters currently go up to modern day, and their air-to-air missiles were much more effective than these early Cold War ones. And the reply was essentially that helicopters get stomped by jets, so it kind of gives it a bit more balance. And it's possible that they're hinting towards helicopters being in standard ARB game modes, which I have spoke about in the past. After that was a question about countermeasures, and they say if the aircraft use them, it will get them, so that's kind of what you expect. There's a question about currently existing aircraft that did have air-to-air missiles, will they be getting them? And the answer was possibly, which is kind of annoying. It should be like yes. After that was a question about battle rating changes, as supersonic jets with air-to-air missiles are definitely going to stop the current top-tier competition. The answer was kind of vague. What I would boil down to is a large maybe. Smin1080p later answered a similar question about battle rating changes. I'm interested mainly in battle rating changes and battle ratings of new planes. Will we get some info? And the reply was yes. Any changes in that department will be in the final notes, which I want to say is hinting towards yes, top tier will be rebalanced, but I'm still quite nervous that's actually going to happen. Next 4 questions, only 2 of them really stood out to me. Is there going to be a CBT for rank 6 jets? And the answer is no. They're going to be available immediately immediately after release. And the final question, will you implement a sonic boom effect in the game? And the answer is yes, we will. Both sound effect and visual one, which is what I'm most interested in. I'm hoping to find some silly glitches with the sound effect. I believe they patched out the Po2 breaking Mach 4, but maybe somebody can find another aircraft that can still do that. It'd be hilarious. After that, there was a dev blog on the F100D Super Sabre, and it can carry a lot of stuff. It can, like, a whole lot of bombs, some bombs and 2 bullpups, a whole lot of smaller bombs, some bigger bombs and rockets, or 4 sidewinders, which I think people are most interested in. It makes me really curious onto how this thing's gonna hold up, especially to things like the MiG-19. Speaking of which, the MiG-19 and the Javelin have not received dev blogs yet, so I'm anticipating those later. And actually, we haven't seen any in-game pictures of the Javelin, but there are pictures of the in-game MiG-19 that were first shown on some random Russian website, and man, it looks really mean. Though it seems to only be able to carry 2 missiles. Also, in related to new jets, Smin1080p has come out to hint towards a new map for the top tier jets. Of course, they're going to need some new maps because most of them are far too small for jets of this speed to be functional. And the store team dude has come out to say that all the premiums that we've seen so far, the Italian tanks, the Israeli Centurion, and these new pre-order jets, are all the premiums that are going to come out this patch. And 6 seems like a fair amount of premiums, although I was hoping for some Golden Eagle premiums of some lower tier interesting vehicles, but I guess we have to wait about that. We are getting Italian trees and a new tier of aircraft. So something that I've been thinking about a long while ago, back in February, there was a leak list of multiple tanks, which all of them came true, and I believe there's some boats there as well that I'm pretty sure also came true, though I've lost the name of the boats. But along with this leak list was some rank 6 jets. Including those was the F100D and the MiG-19, but also the F4C and the MiG-21. I just wonder, because in their first post about the announcement, they talk about how they had been working on these since back in 2017. This leak list came out in February 2018, so it's possible that this leak list is still true, because it did get 2 of the planes right, although I'm pretty sure everyone and the mom would assume that the F100 and the MiG-19 were going to come if rank 6 jets came. But I am just going to say, hey, it's highly likely that we're also going to get the F4C and MiG-21. Maybe not this patch. In fact, I kind of doubt it will be this patch, but maybe next patch. We'll have to wait and see on that one. In terms of tanks coming, the M3 Bradley finally got a dev blog. Overall, it seemed like a rather good vehicle, but something was mentioned about how the Bradley couldn't fire its ATGMs at full speed. And according to a Reddit post quoting a Russian streamer known for collaborating with Gaijin, they will have some sort of cruise function, probably around 30 kilometers per hour, maybe less. And going faster than this, the ATGM launcher will retract, and it's possible this will spread to other IFVs, which I'm not sure if this is a good nerf, and I don't think it's fair to nerf only the Bradley. But I guess we'll have to see how it functions in game to really make a estimate, but I'm against this starting out. But in the comments, someone asked there's going to be a Japanese equivalent to Type 98 IFV as well, and a administrator responded with good chance to have more IFVs in general. The next day, a dev blog came out for the B1 Centauro, a wheeled tank destroyer capable of having AVRE and armed with a 105mm cannon and can shoot some really high penetrating APDS, and with a reachable max speed of 110 kilometers per hour on roads, and probably pretty well on rough terrain. I think this thing is going to be amazing. Fast vehicles with light armor have always done really well in War Thunder. In the comments, however, somebody asked France, and an administrator replied with some French word, which I think is a positive expression, essentially hinting towards maybe France will get something. Some people are assuming it's going to be the AMX-10 RC, which is rather similar to the B1, so that'll be neat if it does come. On the Reddit, somebody was sniffing around the CDK and they stumbled upon a Centurion AVRE, but it did not have its ERA on it. Not only that, but the plow in the front had some sort of grate on top of it, and the junk in the basket on the back was much different. This was definitely a very different model than the premium Centurion AVRE. Why this is here? made a lot of people question. A conclusion some came, and one that I agree with, is this possible? This thing is going to be a winter event vehicle, which would be very exciting because the Centurion AVRE is awesome. And if you have the premium one, then you could have two, and that'd be 3 high-tier British derp guns. And finally, on tanks, on a forum post about the M43 that was posted back in 2017, BlueBeta on the 29th of this year stated the M43 will have for sure the Beretta on the roof, but only in the 7546 version, which I can confidently say is basically confirms that the M43 is going to be in game, but it's kind of one of those tanks you really expect to be in the tree. It's not like Italy had a whole lot to choose from. The final dev blog was for another Russian light cruiser, which I'm not going to pronounce the name of. This one, coming from World War I, had a very old school design with lots of really cool side turrets, which I love. And while the guns were much smaller, only 130 millimeters, there was more of them, and it seemed to have a bit more armor. Hopefully I'll be able to put a fight up against the German one, but I don't think it's very likely, as the German one is quite the beast. Although I have a feeling that the rest of the nations will probably also be getting a second light cruiser. There was an American one, I believe, found on the dev server a while back. That's just about all the news this week. If you've liked this video, hit the like button. If you didn't like the video, don't hit the like button. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. I make news videos on every weekend, and I make random videos throughout the week, and I like to stream on Fridays. So hit that bell icon to be notified anytime I upload anything. And thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day.